Hello, everybody. Welcome to our family story time. I am so excited because we have an amazing author along with her daughter. And as you can see, I got my homie always with me, my son Trey, and I'm so excited to do this interview with him. I thought it was just appropriate since this is a family story time that it could be hosted by not only myself but Trey as well. As you all are coming in, just so you know how our family story time normally goes. It's an opportunity for us not only to learn more about the author, but hear the story live. As many of you all have already done, many of you have started to enter our book raffle. So I will also put the link for that. Some have already entered and you will receive those books within this week. But if you have not entered, you will have an opportunity to do that today and you will be able to win a copy of Olivia's Brook, which we're excited to hear tonight. So if you put a question, comment in the chat, we will make sure it comes up on the screen. Share this video so that many more families can enjoy a night of story time and learning about an up and coming author. And then we will be able to have some Q&A at the end if you have questions. And just so you know, Jennifer, Trey told me, he's like, I got my own questions. I'm like, okay, well, all right.
Bring them on, Trey. I like that.
It might be a little unscripted, just so you know. So I got some questions, and he's like, I can ask my own. I'm like, okay, I'm sorry. So as people put comments and comments and things, I'll have it come up at the bottom. But we're gonna start off as we always start with, which is the beginning. So I would love to just hear a little bit of your background. You can share about yourself and just what even got you to this point of writing your book.
Okay. So as you said many times, my name is Jennifer Young. I am a mom. This is my youngest baby. The real life Olivia Brook.
Okay, Olivia.
And I have three other older daughters, Ava, Lauren, and Gabrielle. I am also a wife. I am a minister. I am a counselor in training, so I will be graduating in May with my master's in counseling with the emphasis on marriage and family counseling. And let's see, what else? What brought me into writing Olivia's Brook, honestly, is probably because I was just having this thought. My older daughters are from a previous marriage. Mm-hmm. And Olivia is with my current husband, LeVar. And I was wondering if she ever felt different. I was wondering if she ever felt, different from her sisters. And if she did feel different from her sisters, what that would be like. And quite honestly, aside from that difference, we all have like things that we're like a little bit insecure about. We all have things that, we feel like stand out that maybe other people may or may not even notice about us, but we feel like those differences somehow are negative. We don't always see like the positivity in those differences. And so one day driving home from work, I was thinking about a conversation that I might have with her when she's a little bit older, if that came up. And I was just like, how could I put those into words? To actually take it back, I probably had this thought maybe about 4 years ago. So she's 7 now. She was probably 3 at the time. So she wasn't able to like articulate those types of thoughts, but I was already kind of thinking ahead. And so driving home from work one day, I literally wrote the book in my head as I was driving. And so once I got home, I sat down and I put it to paper, and the rest, as they say, is history.
Wow. So you actually went to my next question, which was when did you start writing? But I guess I can follow up with like, how long did it take for you to write the book? Like, I know you said you started then, but like, what was the
process? Mm-hmm. So it took me, like I said, maybe 30 minutes to actually physically handwrite the book, like from thoughts to paper, maybe 30 minutes. And usually that's how inspiration comes for me. When God gives me something, it's usually super quick. It's like, just like that. And so it took no time for me to write it, but to actually see it come to fruition. I started in 2016 and I did not get completely finished with the book until this year, 2020. Oh, wow. So the writing, Yeah, the writing process was not hard at all, but the actually putting it together and seeing the full vision, of it, because you could have a vision and then you could tweak it, or you could say it's not going exactly the way I want it to go, so I'm just going to put it out there the way it's going. But I didn't want to do that. I wanted it to be my exact vision, and so I just waited. I took my time and I did what a lot of it was about waiting, but I waited until it was time, and so it was time now.
Awesome. This is you.
What are your inspirations for the stories you write?
Um, this particular inspiration, like I said, was my daughter, um, Olivia Brook. So the title of the book is actually a play on her name. Her full name is Olivia Brook Young. So she was my inspiration for this story. And as I began to write it, I just really thought about like all the kids who feel different, all the kids who have some difference, all the kids who, just even if it's a slight difference, are insecure about it. And that was my inspiration, to make people feel, and give them permission to be okay with their differences.
I loved it. Olivia, I'm about to come to you. She's like, where's my question? So we are going to get to Olivia's book. So first, I want to hear, Olivia, how do you feel having a book named after you?
Well, when I first knew about it, I was really excited because I never thought there would actually be a book named after me.
Oh my gosh. So when you saw the book finally happen, like what was your first reaction?
Like when I first saw it, I was really shocked. So I kind of had that shocked face.
I love that.
Yeah, it was really exciting.
All right. Well, what I want to say is this, and this is to all the families who are watching, because again, we encourage this to be a family night. I think it is so important, like as you even heard Olivia just speak, that we are able to use stories, we're able to use our creativity to address maybe some difficult conversations or topics that we wanted to have with our children, right? I think a lot of times we can maybe shy away from it. And I want to just commend you for that, Jennifer, that you created this book of like, hey, I'm going to be proactive, right? I see that this may be a possible conversation, but what beautiful way in order to have a conversation, but it's not a conversation I don't think is foreign to other families, right? There's going to be something that you may want to speak to your child about, or if they feel different, but I think it's just important to be able to maybe change something that could have been a negative into a beautiful story that now she's shocked, like, oh my gosh, I have a whole story named after me, right? And so we embrace our differences and be able to see how those conversations don't have to be not had, right?
Right. And that's kind of what it was starting out. And then honestly, you think, I'm starting with this thing, and the vision seems like, okay, this is doable, but then God takes it someplace totally different. Like it started out being about like, she has a different dad. How's she going to respond to that? How am I going to have that conversation with her? But then as I wrote it and as I started putting it together, it was like so much more about like just people in general. And it's a children's book, but it's a children's book that adults can even relate to, because that's my mom. Hey, mom. And my bestie. It's a children's book that adults can even relate to, because we all have something that that we are insecure about. We have something that we feel different, that makes us feel different. Or and as opposed to seeing it as a negative, like, oh, this is different, I don't like it. Let's embrace those differences and say, hey, this is what makes me unique. This is what makes me special.
Exactly. I love it.
So we have a question from the audience.
Okay.
Is this your first book?
This is not my first book, actually. Let's see.
First book is
Let's see.
the second book.
This is actually my first book. I don't know if you guys can see this because of the lighting, but it's called My Kids Make Me LOL.
That's cool.
So as you can see, my kids are usually my inspiration for my writings.
Mhm.
And this book is just about it's a bunch of true stories that are in conversations that I've had with my kids. Just we used to have a very long commute. Our commute was about maybe 45 minutes to an hour each way when I would take them to school and then bring them home. And the conversations were hilarious all the time. And so because they made me LOL, I used to email my bestie Genoa and some of my other friends. I would email them stories about them all the time. And my friends were like, "You need to write a book." And the subject of the email would always be "My kids make me LOL." And so that was what I named the book, "My Kids Make Me LOL." So this is also this is my first book.
I love it. So how long did it take you to write that book? I know you said those were stories you collected over time. So, but how long did it take that book to get?
This one probably when I actually put pen and paper, this one probably took about maybe 2 years.
Okay.
About 2 years. And it's just real life stories about, it's kind of like that what Steve Harvey used to host. Kids say the darndest things.
Yes,
It
yes,
was
yes.
Bill Cosby. It was Bill Cosby, I think. But it's kind of like that. They say just some of the most off the wall things, and they be so serious.
Yeah, yeah. Yes, they do. Trust
So
me,
this
they
book is full of
understand.
those types of stories.
Cool. Well, so just as people know, because we're about to get to the live reading, as you all see, I see how this interview is going to go. Trey is actually he's
Yeah.
narrating the chat. And so just so you all know, towards the end of this interview, we will have a Q&A. So if you have questions for Olivia, for Jennifer, for any of us here that's being interviewed, please put them in the chat. And what we will do is at the end, as we continue questions, we will integrate those in. So this is a perfect segue to our next piece, which is actually we talked about Olivia Brook and just the inspiration behind it. Now I actually live reading of the book. So I know for some you already have a copy, so get your copy out, open it up, right? You're gonna get a chance to hear some live narration. And then also as she's reading, I will put in the chat the link for you to enter your name for the book raffle. So just so you know, we at Burst Into Books have been doing an author series of interviews, and Jennifer is just a part of that amazing series. And for each author, we are actually doing a raffle for their books so that you're able to be able to add it to your home library. I think it's important for us to have a variety of different stories that we are including in our home library. So again, you will see the link and you could be able to put your name in for Jennifer's book along with the other authors that we have been interviewing. So at this time, we are actually going to do a live reading. Me and Trey are going to pull out, and it's going to be all you and Olivia, and then we'll come back to follow up with any questions that may have been posed and questions that we have.
Okay.
Here
Sounds
you
good.
go.
Hi, guys. So we are here to read Olivia Brook, and we have the real life Olivia Brook here.
Hello.
And she has her copy of the book. So I'm going to do some reading for you guys. So here is there's the front cover. You can just follow along, baby, okay? Okay. So I want to read the dedication first because um, it does speaks to just everybody who has some differences, young or old, things that we are insecure about, and we don't necessarily always embrace. I want us to just learn how to really embrace our differences and be okay with them, and be okay standing out. So it says the dedication. This book is dedicated to all of the girls in the world who have yet to realize that the thing that makes us different is also the very thing that makes us special. This sentiment extends first and foremost to my favorite girls, Ava Simone, Lauren Renee, Gabrielle Christine, and my very own Olivia Brook. Also to my sister and my niece, the Kendalls. We are fearfully and wonderfully made. There once was a little girl named Olivia. She lived with her family in a very big house near a very small brook. Olivia was always very sad. She didn't understand why she looked so different from all the other little children in her town. Olivia was born with a purple streak of hair. Her mom and dad told her that her purple streak meant she was special. But Olivia didn't like it at all. In fact, she was so ashamed of her purple streak of hair that she never wanted to play with the other children. She thought they would make fun of her. The only thing that made Olivia happy was going to the small brook behind her house and talking to her friend in the pond. Olivia thought the girl in the pond was very beautiful. She visited the brook every day because her friend was so nice. One day, Olivia's friend noticed that she was unhappy. Why are you so sad, Olivia? I don't like my hair. I have this purple streak, and it makes me look different than everybody else. But you're beautiful. No, you're beautiful, Olivia replied. Come sit by me. Let me tell you a story. Olivia sat on a rock near the edge of the water so she could be close to her friend. Once upon a time, there was a tribe known as the Purple Streak people who lived right in this town. They were very special. You see, a long time ago, the Purple Streak people were kings and queens, and they had children who were prince and princesses. Olivia's face lit up in amazement. Wow, that's really cool. It sure is, her friend replied. But do you want to know what's even better? Of course. Olivia, if you have a purple streak, that must mean you come from a royal family. Your grandparents may have been kings and queens. This cheered Olivia up a little bit, but she was still sad that she was different. Olivia's friend asked her a question. What do you think about me, Olivia? Do you think I'm beautiful? Yes, of course. You are the most beautiful person I know, and you're my very best friend. Come a little closer and look very carefully. What do you see, Olivia? Olivia got as close as she could, being careful not to fall in. As she studied the water, she saw that her friend in the pond had the same purple streak of hair. Look how amazed she is. You have the same purple streak as me. Are you one of the purple streak people too? Olivia asked excitedly. I am, giggled. The little girl giggled. But look again. Do you see anything else? Take your time. Olivia stared at her friend in the brook for a few seconds, and then she realized something. You look just like me, Olivia exclaimed. Olivia, I am you. The girl in the water smiled back at her. I don't understand, Olivia admitted. What you're looking at is called your reflection. It's like looking in a mirror, her friend explained. This brook is special. Whoever looks in it will see themselves from the inside out. It was created by the first king of the Purple Streak people. He made it this way so that everyone would always be able to find out if they are a good person on the inside, no matter what they look like on the outside. Whoa! Olivia was so overjoyed. Wow, I am beautiful. Yes, you are, inside and out. You are special too. The way you see yourself is priceless. Always remember, you are royalty. No one can ever take that from you, her reflection told her. From that day forward, Olivia wore her purple streak proudly. She made friends with the other little children because she knew it no longer mattered how she looked on the outside. As long as she remained beautiful on the inside, she was no longer ashamed of who she was. The end. And here's our song. I know many of you that have the book. This is actually real sheet music. I got it scored. And you're probably thinking, I don't know how that goes. Well, Olivia and I are going to sing the song for you. It goes, I am beautiful inside and out. I am beautiful inside and out. I am beautiful. God made me beautiful. I am beautiful inside and out. I am special inside and out. I am special inside and out. I am special. God made me special. I am special inside and out. I am valuable inside and out. I am valuable inside and out. I am valuable. God made me valuable. I am valuable inside and out. And the cool thing about that is I actually that was a song I made up and I used to sing to Olivia when she was a baby. So I thought I would put that in. And then at the end of the book, it's just a royal reflection. And it says, write your name at the top of the next page on the line, right above the brook. This brook now belongs to you. Look at your reflection and say, this is, in my case, I would say Jennifer. This is Jennifer's brook. I am beautiful. I am special. I am valuable. I am royalty. And everybody that buys the book, the special edition, will get their own little book in the back of the book. That way you can look at it and reflect on how beautiful you are. And that is the end.
That is so amazing.
Thank you.
I'm just like sitting here like she got. I'm really really floored. I need you to see the comments that are in here. So we got Mario saying I love it. How adorable, so wonderful, so proud of you, friend.
Thank you all.
We got standing ovations. You got standing ovations. We got, where was the last? Oh, they just all coming in. Awesome, awesome, awesome. I had in here, they so excited to meet the real Olivia. They got your book, Olivia. They like, oh, that's Olivia. Oh my
There
God.
is Olivia. And here's Olivia's purple streak.
Oh my God. Look at her. Oh my gosh. That was so beautiful, Olivia. So beautiful. I just want y'all to just see these comments. I can't even put them up that quick, but do know people are loving this. And what I love is just, you can just tell so much intentionality went into this book, right? I love the fact that I could tell that not only is it about the message, it's about the message of people who get this book, right? Yeah. Even the fact that you put at the end, the mirror, right? But yeah. I'm able to see myself and I'm able to sing these songs, and I'm such a believer in affirmations and just about what we tell ourselves and what we believe in ourselves. So as you all were singing that song, I'm like, I am beautiful. I am beautiful. Oh my gosh.
Yay, I'm so glad.
I'm telling you, I mean, it is so important. It's so important for that to be what we tell ourselves. Because we don't, I mean, and this is not even Olivia, just so you know, for children, adults. We need to be telling that to ourselves, right? Yes. We have things that we got to get over and be okay with. And so people are singing the song, I am beautiful inside and out. Is that a purple streak in your hair too, friends?
Oh, it is, honey. It is. You don't see the purple. Shout out to my husband, LeVar. Nobody will believe that he did my hair, but he did.
What? Okay.
Yes.
Look at this. This is so amazing. So we have a few more questions. If you all have questions to pose to Jennifer, Olivia, please let me know. But I have truly been enjoying this. And hopefully you all saw in the chat the link for you to enter to win a copy of Olivia's book. So please fill that out so that you can be able to get a copy. So this question I always ask is like, what was the research and creative process? And what I mean by that we may have family members and friends on here that like, I want to write a book, right? I have a story I want to share, but we don't know where to start, right? We don't know how do you go from, idea to actually what you have in your hands. So what was like the research? Like, how did you find your illustrator? Like all of that, details of the pictures are beautiful. The layout is beautiful. And again, like I said, I've interviewed quite a few different authors. And so just to see the intentionality in this book is really, really impressive. So what was your process and how did you get, find all the components to get it done?
So like I said before, the writing, I take no credit for any of it, but the writing, totally inspiration from God, right? And so the actually putting it together, it actually was a process trying to find an illustrator. Because I know some artists, I know some wonderful artists that I really wanted to like collaborate with on this project, and it just wasn't working out that way. Mm-hmm. And so that's kind of what took the longest, honestly, is just trying to find someone to do the illustrations for me. So I actually went on Fiverr. I don't know if anybody's heard of Fiverr, but I went on Fiverr. It's Fiverr, I believe. I went on Fiverr and I just like put it out there like, hey, I'm looking for an illustrator. And I gave them my criteria of what I was looking for. And I got a couple of hits, and some started seeming like they were going to work out really well, and then they fell off. And so the one illustrator that I did go with, I thought it was hilarious that he was from Bolivia.
Really?
I was like, okay, you gotta be kidding me, right? So he was from Bolivia. We had a time difference, of course. So that took a little bit of time. But then as far as he actually just did like the illustration, the drawing, he didn't do like the putting things together. So as far as like the layout of how things are like beautifully put together, my friend, she's now my friend. We didn't start off as friends. We started off more as a business relationship. She did the My Kids Make Me LOL book for me, Michelle Muhammad. Check her out, MDM Designs. She actually laid this out beautifully. Like she laid it out beautifully. Everything that you see from like the layout of the book to like the royal reflection to the words, the vocabulary words at the top of the book. Like I told her a little bit of my vision. I was like, I kind of want this. I'm not sure how that's gonna look. She masterfully did everything, like highlighting the words in the story. All of that like really came from Michelle. So Michelle is, and I'm not just plugging her because she did my book. She's excellent, 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 and she does things in excellence. So MDM Design, .biz, I believe is her website. But so Michelle did that for me. That because I already knew her from My Kids Make Me LOL, that process wasn't as long. The longest process was actually finding someone to actually do the drawings. So she took his drawings, put them to the book, put words to them, organized them, things like that, did the total layout. After that, it was about, and also, how can I miss the important step? My friend, Genoa White, actually my best friend.
I'm so glad she connected us.
Genoa, she is an editing beast.
I know you on here, girl.
She is an editing beast. So she did the editing for me for the story. And then, so fast forward, got the layout and everything done. Finding a printer. The hardest part in the entire process was finding a printer who was going to put this mirror in the back for me. I finally found a printer who was going to put the mirror in the back for me, and COVID happened.
No,
and the printer was in China.
Oh my God, of all places, right?
Of all places, right? And I was like, you have got to be kidding me. This is just another stumbling block. But so what I ended up doing was I ended up going with 48 Hour Books, who did the printing. And Michelle was so wonderful that she made the spot for me that I wanted the mirror in. It's actually supposed to be a brook, but it's a mirror. So she made the little spot for me, and I manually handmade the mirrors and put them in myself.
Did you?
Because I really did. I'm not making that up.
Yeah. So when you get them like printed and they come to you, you put the mirror in.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
When they get printed, they come to me. I bought a machine where I can manually cut the mirrors out and manually place every single mirror in a book. And that was the part of what I was explaining earlier. Sometimes you can't get, because they were like, we can do the foil paper. And I was like, I don't want the foil. I don't want the foil stamping. I want an actual mirror. I want it to reflect. And so, yeah, that was a part of the process that had to be tweaked, but she did help me a lot. She did help me a lot. So she was a part of my little, my team, helping me put these things together. So that was the process. And then also Michelle helped me do the website and all that other stuff so that I can get things set up. So that was the process.
And please tell us, so I'm gonna put it in the chat now, what is the website?
The website is oliviasbrook.com. Very simple.
Awesome. So oliviasbrook.com is where you can go and we can learn and get all these amazing things. I am going to, because you definitely have a lot of comments in here. And so we'll come back to that. We just have a couple more questions and I'm gonna take the questions that are in the chat. So you already spoke to one, was how difficult was it to get published. Here is just, what would be some advice? Like, what did you learn and what have you learned? You're now two books in. What would you say is some advice for aspiring writers that you have learned just during your process?
Stay the course. And it may seem like it's taken a very long time, because it felt that way to me as well. But the timing is going to be perfect. Stay the course. Stay the course. And if nobody else loves your baby, you love your baby. You know, and because the vision is yours. And so everybody don't get it. And you want to share it with everybody because you're excited, right? But everybody just is not going to get it. Everybody's not going to understand it. And even though they want to be happy for you, they're kind of like, I don't get it, but okay, go for it, I guess. You know, you gotta have it within you. You gotta kind of find it for yourself and stay the course. You know, you're bringing something beautiful into the world. Just keep going.
Yep. And I would say for you, Olivia, because I know you're sitting there, what would you say would be advice now that this book is out? What do you hope children and families who are reading this story that they would get from the book?
I hope that they get inspired, like if they had ever wanted to make a book but they don't know how to do it, so this could probably help them.
I love it. So we're gonna go up to some of the questions that are posed. And so I'm gonna scroll up. I know right away one of the questions that I also had was, could this be the beginning of a series?
It is the beginning of a series. It is, and you probably can't see because of my hair, but it's the Purple Streak People is the collection. So Purple Streak People, this is the first book in the Purple Streak People series. And so I plan to do one specifically. I know that this one, even though it's for everybody, it's kind of catered more towards girls. So I do plan to do one for little boys. And then I do plan on adding to the series.
Awesome. So that was an amazing best book ever. She wanted to make sure that you knew that was a comment from her daughter. So that was not from her. That was from her daughter. So just
Brianna and Lauren.
Yes, they are loving it. There were some more questions. What is your plan as far as, once I know everything is kind of like COVID, put some dampers on some things. It didn't stop mission and didn't stop purpose. So I don't ever claim that. I believe that definitely, in some ways I feel like God is redirecting our steps, right? And we may have thought that this was the best course, but actually, if we didn't have COVID, we might not even have this opportunity right now, right? And so we have such a great following who's watching, and so it's allowing you to be connected to others. But what would you say is what you desire next? Because I did see that as a question. What do you desire next for this book? I know you said it's a series, but do you see it possibly being something that you put in schools? Do you see it being something that, with Olivia? Like, how could she continue the vision? Like, what do you see big picture for it?
I would love for it to be in schools. I would love for it to be in schools. I would love for it to be in libraries. I would love for it to be in children's hospitals. I would love for it to be any place children are going to be. So that would be really nice. I was trying to reach out to Scholastic. So if anybody knows how to get in touch with Scholastic, I would love for it to be a part of the book fairs that Scholastic puts on. So, I wanted to tour it. That was my overall goal when I did it. It was just to tour it. I wanted to take it, across the city, around town, even to maybe some different states. The funny thing is, I don't know if I should say this out loud, but
put it out there. Let's go.
The funny thing is, I have been thinking about getting it translated to Spanish. So I've been kind of praying about that, but that's kind of one of the things that I wanted to do. But I really wanted to tour it because I just believe it's a message, for all. And so I would love to get it into some schools. I would love to get it into some public libraries and things like that. I think even a vocabulary piece, it's not just inspirational, but it's teaching as well. So yeah, that's kind of what I wanted to do. If COVID hadn't happened, my thoughts were to have like different book readings at different locations, tour it, have the kids come in. I even purchased some purple streaks for all of the people who came in and everything, so I can give it to them in person. They can add purple streaks. We can talk about it. We can talk about their differences and how to embrace them and things like that. So that's what I want to do. Hopefully, once COVID has passed. But if it doesn't pass anytime soon, I still definitely would love to get into some like children's hospitals and things like that.
I love it. So on that note, I just want you to see a comment. Yay, I'm definitely adding this to my therapy kit. I believe this will be an amazing tool to build self-esteem, even address cultural differences. And as you just heard it out there, I'm such a believer that the reason I even do this platform is, yes, to be able to expose different families to one another. We can have a great time. Like even now, we're hearing comments of children loving the book, being able to see the real Olivia, being able to hear the story. But this is also an opportunity for us to elevate our village. And I believe that on this live, there are teachers on here, there are librarians, there are people who work in hospitals, there are whatever it is. You see my mom walking in the background. we get everybody around here, But I'm saying all that to say, you heard her. Bring her to your school. How does she get into your hospital? How does she get into your library? How are you able to connect? Thank you, Sharon, for adding to your therapy.
Thank you, Sharon.
How can we add this to different neighborhoods? It's so many different places that we can be able to not only encourage, but be a support to one another. And I believe that the connect that we need is watching right now. Yeah. So you, again, as you all are watching, if you know someone, if you are that someone, if you don't know how to connect with Jennifer, connect with me. If she's put her website. I see LeVar, he's in here. He's been pubbing you too. Like, go to the website, your husband. This is the whole affair. You all reach out. That's truly support, so that we can make sure that we can get this into as many hands as possible.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Of course. Another question. Where can I get a shirt?
You can get a shirt at DB Angel. So I'm going to actually post a link for her and tag her.
Okay.
It's DB Angels. She did my shirt. She actually did a mask, and then we got T-shirts and things like that. So and the shirt says beautiful, royalty, valuable, and special. And then on the inside it says Purple Street People.
Awesome.
So it's a movement.
This is a movement. I'm so excited to be a part of it. I'm so excited to be able to have this space. And so before we end out, I want you to say how can people stay up to date on what's happening. Again, I also will have at the bottom scrolling. This is her Instagram. This is her Facebook. If there's anything else you want people to know, let us know at this time before we close out.
That's pretty much it. I'm going to be posting. Connect with me. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on Facebook. I'm going to be setting up some things. I really want to set up the Purple Street People community. So where I also just kind of do like inspirational things. I have pop-ups and things like that for different, age groups and stuff like that. So that's going to be coming pretty soon. Well, where you can just kind of log in and join the community of the Purple Streak people, and, just stay connected. It'll be on my Facebook and on my Instagram really soon. So that's how you can stay connected to me. And then I'll eventually do like an email list. So if you complete the information, there'll be an email list going out, and I'll just send you an email blast telling you what's next, what's new. I'll let you know when a new series is coming out. Hopefully, we're going to be having some bundles with this current book. We're going to have some bundles and some package deals and things like that because I have some other ideas for this particular book. So I'll keep you abreast to all that information via email, via Facebook and Instagram. And yes, my mom put on there, thank you, Burst into Books.
Of course. So let me say this, okay, before we end. And Olivia, I'm personally inviting you. So we do a children's book club, okay? So I'm going to put my information scrolling at the bottom as well. So if you're watching and you are viewing this family story time, Burst into Books, which is my organization, we are all based in literacy. We do workshops, story times, book clubs. We partner with schools. We do book giveaways, all those great things. But I'm really, really big about children telling their stories. And I'm really big about allowing platforms for them to be able to encourage one another. So I'm saying that because, Olivia, I need you to be a guest for one of my book clubs. All right? I want my kids, we're going to read your book. All right? Sure. I'm going to let you know which month. And I want you and your mom to both be the guest authors. And I think it's so cool because what we do is at each of the book clubs, we have guest authors because I think it's so important for kids to not only read something, but like even now, people are like, that's the real Olivia? Really? Like, you know what I mean? Like we have authors, like you see a name, you're like, wait, that's an actual person?
Yeah.
So I think it's so important for kids. And I really, 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 Olivia, how old are you, Olivia?
7.
7, perfect. I'm going to have you talk to my 4 to 7-year-old group, okay? So I want you to come, read the story. They're going to probably ask you a bunch of questions because they're going to be so excited to see you, the real Olivia. And I really want to support you and your mom. And so we're going to hook that up. But I want you to know, so be ready. You're going to be our guest author in the next couple of months. Okay.
I'm really excited.
Yay! It's gonna be awesome. Well, thank you all. Thank you all who are watching. Continue to follow. Continue to support. At the bottom, I have my information. So Burst into Books, you can go to burstinthebooks.org, join our mailing list, and you will find out all the different things we're doing. We're also on Instagram as well at Burst into Books. But this has been such a joy. Thank you for
Thank you so much. I know we were supposed to connect some time ago, and this is how long it has taken, but it's worth it. So thank you so much for having me. I really, really having us. I really, really appreciate it. Just allowing us to be on your platform. I think what you're doing is amazing. I've kind of seen you, from like a little bit of the start, and then, when you were like campaigning for your building and things like that, and you just like, you are on your way, and I'm so excited for you as well. So congratulations to you.
Yay. This is the beginning. This is not the end. This is the beginning of our partnership. So I'm
absolutely.
Awesome. Well, thank you all for watching.
Thank you.
Spread this live because it will be able to be broadcast afterwards. So if someone missed it, they can watch it later. And again, thank you all for spending your Friday night with us, and hopefully you enjoy Family Story Time with Jennifer R. Young. Take care. See you, Olivia.
Bye.
Bye. Take care.